All right, man. I kind of miss Erica Badu. Are you an Erica Badu fan?
Man, what? I am the biggest. I don't know nobody's a bigger Erica Badu fan than me.
Really?
Last year, on my birthday, she was supposed to be here. I think it was the 13th, but COVID canceled the concert, and I was supposed to go to the concert with my friend Rashida. Okay. My birthday was the 17th, and then but COVID, everything shut down.
Let me move this camera. You want to give them some information about today?
Okay. Oh, we're live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So welcome to this week's edition of Playfair Friday. We got a really good show for you today. We're taking you into some federal cases. God, P, you just, we didn't even warm up today. You just walked in the door and it's like, we live. Yeah, wait a minute. I literally was stuck in traffic. He didn't give me no time to warm up.
See, but, she's an all-star. We ain't even do our intro either.
Right, we didn't do nothing. I just walk in the door and you already going. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, I definitely apologize for that.
No.
But how was your week?
Yeah, my week was all right. It's been a busy week. We're getting a lot of phone calls. I've been dealing with so the first caller calling in today, you all seen him on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. He is Carly Red's ex-husband, Maurice Fain. Everyone knows him as Arkansas Mo. And for those of you who kind of follow his story, he got indicted on some federal charges dealing with the PPP loans. And I'm so glad he called me because I have been seeing several people get arrested on these PPP loans, and just working his case the last week, I've learned so much about it. So he has not been to any court yet. He got arrested a year ago. Paid thousands of dollars for an attorney, and the attorney hasn't even went to see him yet. And they were trying to, they was trying to get him in court Monday, this coming Monday, but we were able to get it continued because how are you trying to make him sign a plea? And he didn't even get to sit down and talk with his attorney. The most interaction he had was with FAIR.
So they were just trying to go
just straight take this 12-year plea.
Wow.
So, with he's a controversial character, and this has been one hell of a week because once I started posting him, people didn't care based on what happens on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And I want everybody to understand that FAIR is the name of our organization is Fighting Against Institutionalized Railroading. Our job is to make sure that you are not being railroaded. So we don't care what you do in your personal life. If you're a celebrity, what you're doing on a TV show, that has nothing to do with the case. We will be sitting in the courtroom with him every step of the way. If it's not me, it'll be Danielle, Tammy, Erica, Don, whoever. He's locked up in the feds with Iz, and Iz is already going through the discovery with him and breaking it down, and they're in the law library. I think they're only allowed access to the law library every Wednesday. So they're going in there every Wednesday to go over his case and everything. So I just want people to be mindful. I don't want to hear, when we take cases, I don't want to hear about what they did with their baby mama, their ex-wives, their ex-husbands. We're only dealing with the facts of the case. So let's keep that clear. They'll be calling in very shortly. We also have another guy, Daniel Salano, who will be calling in. He too got a federal case. And his case is almost similar to the guy from Mississippi that got the Fed and the state times at the same exact, well, not at the same time, but he had to do 20 years for the feds and then 20 years for the state, but it was only one crime. So his is something similar, except the difference is he had a probation violation. When they came to pick him up, not probation, parole. When they came to pick him up, there was an unassembled weapon in the house. And they arrested him, took him for parole violation. And, his parole was almost done anyway. So the state didn't keep the case, but the feds picked it up. And you're going to learn about something called constructive possession. So what that means is basically because you are a felon, if you are anywhere near the gun, even if it's not yours, even if it's not assembled, if it's just somewhere around you, you are going to be held liable for what could have happened with that gun. And the crazy thing about it is, are you listening to the words that just came out of my mouth? Nothing happened with this gun. It wasn't put together, but because it's a gun and you're a felon, somebody could take this gun and kill somebody, and we're gonna blame you.
That's correct.
And when I saw that, when he told me this, I said, this seems like it should be easy for us. But every time I think a case is gonna be easy, I learned that, like with Sharon Edwards, the what was it, dual sobriety or whatever the word was called. They just make up things as they go to be able to do whatever they want with our lives.
Right.
So it's hard to fight a system that just makes things up as they go, that just wants to do whatever they can do just to keep you in there.
And what did you say that actual law was called?
It's called constructive possession.
Wow.
So
and that's only because you're a felon.
It's because you're a felon. So if you're a convicted felon, if you come to my house and I have a gun, you know, the gun could be locked away in a cabinet, anything, but because you are a felon and that is a gun, if they want to, they can pick it up and give you a whole new charge for that gun. The state of Georgia didn't want to give him a charge because his parole was almost finished.
Right.
He only had like 9 months left. So they were just like, just sit in prison for your 9 months and go home. But right when he thought he was about to go home, the feds picked up the case. And this is what we're working against now.
And that's unbelievable. Like, why would they pick it up? I mean, like,
because they want to do whatever they want to do. So he's sitting in the feds right now, waiting on his trial for this. I mean, it's so unfair and unfortunate. He done paid his dues for the crime that he committed that made him a convicted felon. Now he's waiting for the feds to do whatever they feel like doing with him.
And he had pistol was just.
It was just in there. He didn't even know it was there. It was just there in the room. It was unassembled in a case. Unassembled in a case at his mother's house. So he'll be able to tell you more of the story when he calls in. Unbelievable. And then we're gonna have an update. I've been getting calls all week long about what's going on with the guys. So calling in from USP Atlanta, we have Kevin Clayton. The city knows him and loves him as OGKK, and calling in from Robert and Dayton, a detention facility. We have the founder of Fairmont, We Will Siddiqui Israel, and we all know him as Is, and they'll be calling to give an update on their case. So it's going to be a pretty good show. I thank everybody. Hold on, I'm reading something.
Okay, so we got OG.
Right, but when we talk to the attorneys, sir, they said because you are a felon and you are around the gun, anything that could possibly have happened with that gun, you could be held liable for. So this is what came from the attorney. But we're basically saying the same thing. He just corrected me. But you know, if you're not a felon, they're not going to just give you a charge on a gun that's not assembled.
Right. I mean, right.
Right. So he's correcting me. No. That's not true. I'm reading what you're writing, but that's not true. They're calling early.
Oh, okay,
they're calling early.
That's dope.
Okay, our first caller is calling in. Let me bring in the call.
Hang up or press 1. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, how you doing? This is Mo.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Let me go. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay. So everybody that's tuning in, I would like to thank you. On the phone, you all know him from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. His name is Maurice Fame, but we all know him as Arkansas Mo. Mo, you're on Play Fair Fridays with Damita Bishop. You've already met me, and you're on with the host P.Wells.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm doing fine, my brother. Thank you for definitely taking the time to call in.
And I want to thank you. I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to thank you for reaching out to FAIR and allowing us to work with you on your case. I have got I started kind of talking to the public about what little I knew about your situation. And you, of course, you have a controversial character on the show Love and Hip Hop. You're not necessarily everyone's favorite character. But when it comes to going to court, we only deal with the specifics of a case. We don't deal with what goes on in anyone's personal relationships. That has nothing to do with why anyone's on trial. So with that being said, you know, we at FAIR, we fight for institutionalized railroading. We fight against institutionalized railroading, excuse me. And we want to make sure that everybody, when they go to court, that they're being treated fairly, not being used as a fall guy, not having charges added to them, and that every process of the law is being met to the best of their ability. Even if they're guilty, we want to know that they're being treated fairly. How are you doing so far? I know, you know, it's been a crazy week. You haven't heard from your attorney. You haven't been able to get your private visit from your attorney. But I was told that they did give you a continuance. Have you got that date yet?
Yes, I don't have the date. Well, first, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure working with you all. Just a fair project within itself. I support 100%. You couldn't have a better name of it as fair because giving, like you stated, my character is not the favorite on there, but you know, give me a fair chance with a fair artist to make things fair. I mean, just gotta find another turn forward. But as far as the court date on Monday, they have not given me the new court date. It's probably gonna be a few weeks out.
Okay.
I did see my attorney today, which was ironic that I see my attorney today. And that's the first time I went to the law library since my discovery. I just got my discovery this week. To say the least of all things. And I've yet to see a written plea agreement. So I think this is all kind of ironic within itself. But outside of that, health-wise, we got a broken collarbone that I had prior to my incarceration here. And wait to go see a specialist again to see if they're going to recommend surgery. But outside of that, I'm okay.
Okay. Now, as far as like the ironics, you know, the moment we started talking to you, everything you told us, we started writing down and getting on it. So, you know, we all hit up the attorney, letting them know, you know, we are aware. I didn't know that your attorney, they had just had a baby until today, but you are still entitled to a privileged conversation, a private conversation with your attorney. And for them to want to do everything on a video visit where the feds is actually monitoring and watching everything you say, that's taking away your right. So that had to be, Right. Right. And I want to thank the ladies that work with FAIR, Erica Rodriguez, Danielle Johnson, Tammy Capps, and Don Hawthorne, because they immediately started making phone calls. So somebody's call reached somebody. I don't know whose call worked, but somebody's call made a connection. So that's the first thing. And then we was already suited and booted for you for Monday. But, you know, with such short notice, we're glad that we can put that off a little bit. Everybody had rearranged their schedule to go sit in that courtroom with you.
Thank you first for being willing to take the time, and also apologize to them for wasting their time with you. I really appreciate you. Appreciate everything God has done. Continue to do. I just want to say thanks to you.
No, we appreciate you as well. But no, you don't waste anybody's time, because this is the one thing that I always preach to people. The moment that your loved one is incarcerated, from that moment on, you need to be surrounding them and protecting them and watching every process of the law. Because once they see that somebody's not paying attention, they feel like that's their right to do whatever they want to do with you. And I'm so happy that you were at least in a facility that has an active law library, because some people can't get to their law libraries right now. Right. Danielle Johnson just said you are not a waste of our time. We live for this.
I said thank you.
He said thank you.
It's and just speaking on incarceration, a lot of people don't know this. It's something that I, been in the spotlight. You never really want to put out certain things, or just from the social media bullies. People actually have real mental health problems behind things that people say and do on social media that aren't true, because you get the tag of the day.
Right.
But I grew up with my mom in and out of prison my entire life. My mom was 14 years old when she had me. My father was 21 years old at the time that I was born. And according to what I was told, my mom was raped by my father. That's how I was here. And my great-parents raised me since I was 2 months old. And my mom did actually 14 years in federal prison.
Wow.
And it's a touchy subject, because people talk about fathers in prison all the time, but nobody talks about the moms that are in prison and how it affects a kid. It's a lot to deal with.
It is. And we always talk about mental health and the people that are incarcerated. A lot of times they always say, why do Black people don't go see a therapist? Because we are treated differently when we do. I noticed that when a lot of times when the the Caucasian inmates go, they're being responsible when they address the issue. But when a Black inmate goes, well, that's more reason to keep him incarcerated, because now he's hearing voices, or now he's this. So, it's a lot that, goes into how we try to look out for you guys and stuff until you're home with your families. I know we can't really say much about the case now, but once Siddiqui and I started going through what he was able to get without talking on the recorded horns, we have ways of sending subliminal messages to each other. I told him that I noticed that looking up other cases with the PPP loans, they're giving them out way too easy. You don't normally you have to have very, very good credit to get a loan. But for these, it seems like anybody can get them. And then months after they get them, they're turning around and getting arrested. So I told him it has to be something in that fine print that people are missing. Because there's no way you're going to tell me that we're watching all these people get arrested, but yet we're going to do the exact same thing that they're getting arrested for. Something is not being clear or understood in the paperwork. And then he told me, but they didn't even give you the paperwork. There was never any paperwork. So I asked a couple of other people, and they said that they did theirs on social media and then got the money and then got the paperwork. So right there in itself, it sounds like it's a setup to me.
I'm laughing just because, I can't actually speak on any part stuff, not even why I think people feel that way. All I can say is when you rush something and you put in a system, I don't care what type of system it is, you put it in, and you don't have ground rules, you're gonna have mistakes, unintentional mistakes like it.
Right.
And that's because you're constantly, they change the rules and the regulations of the CARES Act within itself probably every day of the week that Congress or whoever did the CARES Act probably changed it every day that they was in session. Which is true. No one knows the rules and what can and what can't. And, don't do this or you can do this, or nobody really knows. There was no handbook at the point in time when the people you were seeing getting arrested got arrested. Nobody. There was no, with everything else, there's a rule to it. Like, hey, this is what it is. With that, it was no parameters. That's why everybody got it.
Right. And I know all the way up to me driving to the show today, I've been getting people sending me the link. Girl, I got my 7,000 a day. I got my this. I was like, no, I'm good. And I don't want no parts of that. Right. But it's a learning lesson. But I'm kind of glad that I'm not glad that you're in this situation, but I'm glad that we can stop what few people we can wake up in this process that we're able to do so, because just in this short time of working with FAIR, we've learned so much about how corrupt our government is, and their job is to put bodies in the prisons. And then on your case, like right before you were even sentenced, they're making announcements that they want to give the maximum punishment for this. Well, you're not making it clear to these people, because everybody knows that you got to use it for your business. We know that. But then any little thing you do after that, they're holding it against you like you're using their money and not your own. Like you don't have customers coming in.
Well, I can say this, and this is without, how can I say it? To me.
Okay.
If you work at, no matter where you work at, when you get paid, when they pay you, what you do with that money that they paid you, your paycheck, should not matter to the government. The government, as long as you're not doing anything illegal.
Right.
I mean, if you take that paycheck and you go buy food, if you go buy food and eat it, then because you didn't use that money for payroll, you get arrested. Like how they want to say how you're supposed to use your money that you have yourself. That was your paycheck.
Right, but the key word in it.
It's a dictatorship instead of a democracy.
Right.
You can't do what you want to do with your own money.
And the key word in it is that it's a loan. So even if I wipe my behind with the money, I gotta pay you back.
Right.
So if I'm just really lost on the whole thing.
Right.
But
now not paying a bill is a criminal offense now.
Exactly.
Now your card gets repossessed, you go to prison now because you didn't pay your bill. Right.
I mean, if you want to look at it in them terms, exactly.
It don't get any more simpler than that.
Exactly.
It's not a loan. When you go get a card, the people are loaning you that card until you pay their money for it.
Right.
I loan you the money, you're loaning it to me until I pay you back for it.
Right. And this is how you're going to pay it back. These are the terms. So what a PPP loan is basically, I'm going to give you $1 million.
You have 1 minute remaining.
This is your payment schedule, and I'm going to tell you what to do with the money.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I'm not sure. Are you going to call back or?
I don't see the big right now, but quickly, I want to thank you guys for everything you have done, to all the viewers, all the callers, everybody listening. Thank you guys just for even paying attention. What TV makes me out again is acting in television.
Exactly.
I'm a human. I have kids. I got family. I got a life. I lost a lot through this process. COVID has affected me. Without COVID, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But people, please be aware of people around you with mental health. Mental health is a very serious thing. A lot of people have embarrassment about it. Yeah. Check on your loved ones. Check on the people who you think are strong. The strong are often forgotten. Thank you. God bless everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mo. And P, you got anything you want to say before it hangs up?
No, my brother, just keep your head up, and definitely people are keeping an eye on this situation.
Okay. So for those of you just tuning in, that was Maurice Fain, aka Arkansas Mo from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Again, he's been arrested on a PPP loan violation. I'm not allowed to really speak much on his case. The only thing I am going to say is everything is not what it seems. What the news and what the media has shown you is not the actual facts. He's locked up with Is went through the case, is going through his discovery with them, breaking it down, because until FAIR made their phone call, this was the first time he's seen his attorney.
Wow.
So, shout out to the people of FAIR for getting on it, getting on it and making sure that he's being treated fairly. He actually didn't get his discovery until this week. Emailed me and let me know that they had discovery. I told him to start breaking it down because, until today, we believe we only had until Monday to make a decision on whether he was going to take a plea or not.
Right.
The DA came to see him, but his own attorney took a substantial amount of money and had not went to go see him. Now, pregnancy is 9 months. The man got arrested in January. He said January of 2020. Pregnancy is 9 months.
Right.
You're just going to go see him today, the day of the show. But I mean, that's just how powerful it is showing somebody that you're watching. That's why what we do is so powerful.
And you're accountable.
And that you're accountable.
Because they could have sent an assistant. They could have sent
anybody.
Right.
But that's what I called. I know Erica called, and I think Danielle may have called as well. But we just back to back started calling because first he wanted us to send an attorney up there. If he liked this attorney, he was just going to throw away what he already spent and get another attorney. But he spent, and we were like, we don't know if we, but he don't want to do 20 years in prison. So it's like, I'm desperate at this point. So, the attorneys wanted him to immediately fire the attorney. And first we had one willing to go up there, but then once he saw who it was, now he wants some money too.
Wow.
So
wow.
I told Eric, I was driving, Erica had taken notes. I said, what did he say his attorney's name was? She told me. I said, all right, let's start calling the attorney. I said, because, whatever. And I told her, she was just like, well, I just had a baby and COVID and I'm not going to risk it with, risk taking COVID back to my child. And I haven't been immunized. I said, but you have paralegals,
right.
You have whatever, you can tell them what to say,
right.
And they
can give them
somehow y'all can, communicate with this guy.
Right.
And so
you can ask him a certain amount of questions.
Yeah.
And they can refer to information. Like that's no excuse.
Right. So this was yesterday, and then today when I'm leaving UPS, it sends me a message. I don't know what happened, but he got an attorney visit. Hallelujah.
See.
And I'm like, oh yeah, what you think? You don't know what happened?
Right.
We got on the phone.
Exactly what
happened. We don't play with them, but like I told him, we gotta also understand. People started talking about, well, that's what he get because of what happens on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Even though it says reality TV, it's still acting. A lot of that, they're selling, a happily married couple is not going to sell. They want to see the drama.
Exactly.
So a lot of that, trust me, I'm not going to put too much of their business on here, but a lot of that was staged.
Right.
Okay. And I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of that was staged. So don't feel like the man should go to prison for a PPP loan because of what happened on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Right. They taking it a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Too personal.
Well, that's what he did because of what he did to Carly Red. Okay. Wow. So if right.
Yeah. If they believe in everything they see on TV, then I got a bridge that I can sell them.
Right.
Right around the corner. I mean, come on now.
Right. I mean, there's been I'm about to say too much, but I'm happy that he did trust in FAIR to help with his situation. Like I said, I love my team. We immediately started rearranging our schedule, telling our jobs, we got to be at the federal courthouse at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday because we're not going to let this man be by himself.
Yeah, and it kind of happened. I mean, just based upon the timetable that you were telling me, like this seemed to happen pretty fast.
No. It's been a year. I'm talking about 2020 is when he got arrested. It's April of 2021.
Oh.
But he called
okay, so when he was brought in from, I guess, whatever brought him in, I mean, just think about what I'm saying. Okay, he got arrested in 2020.
Right.
So,
but all the courts were closed down most of 2020 because of COVID.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's what you're saying.
So by now, if there was no COVID, he would have had calendar call arraignment.
Okay.
At least the first.
So whatever he did actually happened in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happened. Now PPP loans are really popping now, but they're not nothing new.
Right.
So
Okay. Well, I'm definitely appreciative that he definitely called in. He seemed like he was in good spirits.
He did. He feels so much better because when he talked to me Tuesday, he felt like he didn't have a friend in the world. He didn't have nothing. But one thing about is, gotta give it to him. That's a knowledgeable brother. He gonna get in that law library, even with his own situation. Anybody that sits down with him, he's gonna get in that law library and he's gonna, research the case.
And that is good. I mean, just to have someone who's passionate about the truth.
Yeah, well, I'm not going down without a fight. That's basically how he lives. So we have our second caller calling in now.
An inmate at the Robert A. Dayton Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press. This call is from a correction.
It's important we get that on here so they don't try us.
Right.
They say they got cell phones in it.
Exactly.
Hello.
Hey Daniel, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. So you're on Playfair Friday, sitting in the studio today. You have myself, Damita Bishop, and our host, P.Wells. How you
doing, Daniel?
I'm doing all right. Nice to meet y'all.
So I was telling them a little bit about your case with the constructive possession, but we kind of had a little wrestle and tussle online about it. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell your story and how you got there, and then we're gonna talk more about it.
Well, I almost remember it like it was yesterday.
I bet.
You mean like how it happened, like when I got arrested?
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us whatever you want to tell us about your case.
It was I was asleep and stuff, and I had changed my address. I had been home from prison for a while, and I had to use my mom's address, but I was staying somewhere else. She kept calling me, telling me that parole kept coming by the house, trying to wonder where I was at. But I was on non-report for the last few months because I only had a few months left on parole, so they started leaving me alone. So I was wondering why they kept coming by the house. So one day I went over there to stay for a few days, and they happened to come early in the morning. And I'm gonna be honest and stuff. I had been smoking marijuana that night before. I didn't expect them to come that day. They don't ever give you a heads up.
Right.
So they had when they came in, one of my mom's roommates didn't wake me up or anything, and he just let her right in and took me straight to the room where I was sleeping in, and they were banging on the door. And so I opened the door, and the first thing that the officer said that it smelled like marijuana in the room. So I knew I had a little bit of marijuana in there, so I said, all right, look, go ahead and book me, lock me up for the little violation and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You caught me in the wrong. All right, it's just a little 30 days for that. And so he ends up deciding he want to search the room. So he searched the room, and whenever he did that, he ended up finding a gun in the box in one of the drawers.
See?
And it didn't have my fingerprints on it, nor my DNA, nor was it in my possession. It was just around me. And they had pretty much charged me with possession of a firearm and possession of marijuana. And they tried to hit me with a gang charge as well, but all those charges got dismissed. And the only one that I've been fighting these last 3 years has been the gun charge. They dismissed the whole case today. After 9 months of me being there, they dismissed it and put a hold on me for the feds, and the feds just can't pick me up on the firearm, but they didn't charge me with possession of firearm. They got me with interstate commerce because the firearm was manufactured in I think Pennsylvania or something, somewhere in that area, and I've never even been over there, nor do I even have any knowledge of it even being brought or how it even got down here to Georgia. So they charged me with interstate commerce and possession of a firearm because the only reason they can't got me for it was because it was not made in Georgia, it was made in another state.
Wow. Okay, so hold on, Daniel. Did the person who owned the firearm admit to it being theirs?
Nah, the firearm, it didn't belong to nobody. I never said anything about it, and that charge, that case got thrown out in the state. My whole case was dismissed in the state because I was also challenging the jurisdiction, saying that they didn't have any jurisdiction over me because I demonstrated that I was a private citizen and that I had all my rights reserved under UCC. I was a secured party creditor and they didn't have any jurisdiction to prosecute me or hold me because they had violated the 70-day speedy trial violation. I also had filed a silver surety bond, 21 silver surety bond to cover all the liability in case the case got thrown out and it got dismissed. I filed a whole bunch of things on the record. So really the state didn't have too much jurisdiction to file those claims on me because I was exercising my sovereignty right.
Now my question, okay, so we know this, the state is not our issue right now. It's the feds.
Yeah.
That gun got in that house somehow. So it wasn't your gun. Do you have any idea whose gun it was? And I'm asking you a question now. Like, do you know if the person owning up to it would give you any relief on the case? Like if let's say if it was my gun and I said, here's my papers, this is my gun, it was over, he didn't even know it was there, would they at least give you some release from that?
I doubt it. But you see, the thing is I've been locked up 30 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most that they can give me on this case is 36 months, all right? And I was going to plead guilty just so I can put this behind me and get this over with. But the attorney that I have right now, he's supposed to have my case over with since last year, and it's already in the middle of the year, and he hasn't talked to me in 2 months. Still hasn't responded to me. And
now I thought you had an attorney visit. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, but he canceled it. Right, I was over there waiting on him for 2 hours. I'm sitting there waiting, and he ends up relating the message to the officer, and he ends up canceling the visit. And then
yeah, you should have told us.
And he said he was gonna come see me last week. Instead, he didn't come last week. He didn't come this week. So I'm about to fire him right now because he's a pathological liar, and he's proved to be inconsistent, ineffective in every way possible. And I've already tried to fire him a few months ago, and the judge wouldn't let me because he still felt like he could represent me, but I know he can't because he's really trying to sell me out.
Yeah, they be doing. Is it a public defender?
Yeah, I had a paid lawyer in the state though, but he didn't do federal cases. So
okay, I got you. So did you tell Eric? Because once Eric has sent out that email to your attorney, and then called me and told me that you had a visit, we thought, okay, everything's going well with you. So I guess I'm gonna have to pull. I'm gonna pull up. I need his text me in my emails. Text me all his information. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna go to the office.
I had already sent it to Erica, and I just typed the letter yesterday in the law library. I'm about to fire him because I can't even get a hold of him. I call him every day. He doesn't talk to me. He's been on my case since last year. He doesn't.
Here you go. This is if they won't let you fire him, I'm gonna go up there with my phone, and I'm gonna let you know when I'm there, and you call me, and I'm gonna hand his ass the phone. That's how we get. That's how we get around that. Now, if the judge won't let you fire him, but if he makes you keep him, this is how we're gonna have to do it. Because I have to do that with several people. Okay. Well, try to.
I sent the letter out Monday to dismiss him and get him off my case. That's what I've been trying to talk to Erica and let her know what's going on because the thing is, all right, if I plead guilty, I'll be out in a few months, but I don't know where he came out of nowhere. he wants me to plead guilty to 36 months, right? I've been locked up 30 months, but he doesn't want to give me credit for all the time I've been locked up.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, so this is where the problem is coming between me and him, and where I'm having issues with the DA. They don't want to give me credit for the 2 years I've been here and the time I did in the county jail. So they pretty much want me to do 5.5 years on the 36-month sentence because they don't want to on pretrial.
So they damn near trying to give you what they would give a convicted felon in possession of a firearm.
Well, he is a convicted felon, remember?
No, but what I'm saying is they're trying to make that possession of it stick, because if it wasn't on him like possession is, it's on
Right.
him. You know
Well,
what I mean?
because he's a felon, you know, when you're a convicted felon, you're not supposed to be around firearms.
Yeah, but how would you know that it's there?
Well, like I said, they make these laws up just so that they can do whatever it is they want to do. The feds dropped it. I think just based on the way he just described it, when he fought him tooth and nail, line for line at the
that's
state level,
Right,
probably pissed them off, so they hit him on the federal level.
right,
That's what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong,
right.
but
Do you think the state and the feds speak like that? They
But
of
But
course.
if you think about it, the feds really don't have any jurisdiction over me because they also operate under maritime law, which means that it's the law of the sea, and that only applies if I commit a crime on the sea. You know, technically, like I put in my letter of intent that's on the docket, I stated that basically that I'm only governed under the laws of God, and I haven't committed any crime because I haven't injured any party or nor do I have a victim in any case. So therefore, the crime that they're accusing me of is all commercial.
Exactly.
Because I haven't hurt anybody or damaged anybody's property or did anything, nor do I have a violent record. They're just pretty much trying to send me away on something that they know is commercial and is not constitutional.
Right.
Because the Second Amendment of the Constitution states that every citizen or entity of the United States has the right to carry a firearm in order to be able to defend yourself, especially when you're operating business or anything like that. But you know, there really ain't no way that they can prove that that gun is, you know, that it was mine because it never had my DNA nor my fingerprints or anything, nor was it on me. It was just around the area where I just happened to be at.
Okay, so I have somebody that just posted that automatically a felony in possession of a handgun can be anywhere from 60 months all the way up to 25 years to life. But I'm assuming with your felons not being violent felonies, that they wouldn't hit you with the maximum. You was a first time offender?
Yeah, the felony that I have on my record before this one was one that I caught when I was 17, and it was a non-violent case and stuff. And
so, whoa, hold on before you continue. Did you take a first time offender arrangement?
Yeah, I had took first offender, but they had took the first offender away from me because I had violated my probation.
Yeah. Okay, so that's okay. So you do understand that when that happens, you gotta. Well, but he already completed it, right? Because the parole will be the end of that sentence.
Yeah, my parole's expired. I'm no longer up under any contract with the state.
Hold on 1 second, Daniel. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's crazy that you say that because I took the First Offenders Act, and what you're saying is that your time had been completed. You've completed your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the state case is already over with. That case, the parole that I had has been over with about a year and a half already.
So,
and I came up for 2 bond hearings last year. They denied me bonds, and I had a whole bunch of people write letters saying that I had a job and everything out there, that I wasn't a flight risk, I had good time for the community, and they denied my bond too.
You have 1 minute remaining.
They were accusing me of
Yeah.
being a part of a gang. And my case has nothing to do with anything that has to do with any gang activity whatsoever.
How old are you, Daniel?
29.
29.
Yeah.
Wow. So another person is posting that the sovereign laws don't hold up in court. They're not going to care about them.
Yeah.
Have you went into the law library and seen any cases where they actually worked?
Well, I haven't really looked, but I've seen, well, the method that I had used, because this is about to hang up, but I had filed some motions and affidavits from this package that's called the slam dunk package. And I've seen that work a lot in the state. And I know 1-2 persons that have, handled their business and got.
Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah. See, from what I know, I have another person that called me about the first time offenders. And okay, this is a question because I don't know. But when you take parole, anybody that's still with us can answer this. Is parole the remaining time left on a sentence, basically? Okay, so you're going to do, like, if you got 20, you get out in 10. The other 10 is on paper.
It's on parole.
So if his parole was finished, then that means he did the complete sentence, right?
I wanted to ask him, did they revoke his First Offenders Act? Now, if they revoked his First Offenders Act and his time was up, he's still a convicted felon.
Right. Well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're going to be a convicted felon if you violate on the First Offenders Act, right? But from what I've seen cases where they had to finish that charge, and then they had to finish that sentence, and then the new charge, they have to do the full sentence of that charge.
Oh, that's tough.
So, like, you have to really, when you take the first offenders, you have to really understand it. You have to know that once you're done, you're not getting in any more trouble.
Right.
Because if you get in, I mean, there's so many stipulations to that. If you do, if that crime would have been, if that crime would have been like 25-year crime, and they let you, I think the guy that called me, he had 5 years. He took the first offenders where he did 5 years in, 10 years out. But then on the 3rd year of the 10 years out, he committed another crime. So he has to finish that 10 years and then do the next.
And that's why the judge told me when I took the First Offenders Act, they said that if I committed another crime, that they was going to revoke the first offender's plea, make me do the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about, in order for me to have to go before this judge again,
Right.
I would have had to commit another crime.
Yeah.
So now they probably looking at you a little crazy. You know what I mean? So that is tough. You got to know that you're trying to stay out the way.
Yeah.
And I wonder what was the initial.
Recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah, hello?
Yes. Okay, we got you.
Sorry about that.
No, we know you guys are timed. Key?
Yeah, so, I took the First Offenders Act, so I'm just trying to get something clear. You took the First Offenders Act, but you hadn't completed it, and then you caught another charge, so you had to.
Yeah, I had violated my probation on a technicality, and I had already like 4 technicalities. So they just ended up revoking it, and they sent me back to prison to finish up my probation. I had got out on parole.
Oh man, that's a tough one there. I mean, because that sucks. I mean, because you.
Yeah, they didn't send me to no ordinary prison. I'm thinking I'm just going to a nice little laid back prison. They sent me to close security, maximum security.
Right. So
They sent me to the worst one they had in Georgia.
Where they send you to Jackson?
Huh?
Where they send you to?
They sent me to Macon State.
Macon State. I'm trying to think.
And I sat in Jackson State Prison as diagnostic for 6 months before I even went down there.
Okay, so on your original felony, you did all the time from that felony, right?
I think I had did more time. They gave me 10 years to serve 2. I did the 2 years, but I spent more time locked up on technicalities because they used to violate me. Because I'm gonna be honest, it was street gang activity was the felony that they had locked me up, which is not even constitutional. But since I didn't know anything of the law at this time, didn't know any of my rights when I was young. They pretty much took advantage of me, and I pled out to it. And they were violating me for wearing blue. They used to lock me up for a year. Every time they would catch me in the street, the probation officer, you'll see me wearing blue or colors or whatever he might think that
Right.
appropriate to lock me up.
What county were you living in?
That was in Cherokee County.
That's where my daughter go to school. There's gangs in Cherokee County. The Klan is the only gang I know in Cherokee County. I mean, like seriously, I didn't. Now Cobb, there's gang, but I didn't know that there was.
Yeah, there was Spanish gangs and stuff down there, but not like there used to be. And so they pretty much sent their message and got their point across and got them up out of there.
Right.
But I happened to be one of the last ones. They had railroaders. They had me messed up down there on that for a long time. And I don't want nothing to do with Cherokee County anymore. I'm not probably going to ever go back down there.
Right. I mean, because every time I go there, I see the Proud Boys. I mean, that's the only place in Georgia that I've actually seen the Proud Boys. I mean, I've seen the Klan when we all went to Stone Mountain back in.
I mean, there's money out there.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of money out there.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but they definitely don't play fair down there, and they, have had it out for me since I was young over there for some reason. I guess because they see the potential and the influence that I've had, and they've always targeted me ever since I was young, and I moved from California to Cherokee County.
Got you. So to them coming from California, you're probably automatically in a gang.
Right.
You know,
that's what they automatically assume.
Yeah.
And they nervous. Like he said, they want to make a point.
Yeah.
But really, I don't even be entertaining all that stuff. Really, I was working. I was taking care of my business when I was out there. I just happened to get caught up in a bad situation, and I just pray that it all gets resolved this year because my 36 months is up this year, and that's the most that charge holds. And if I end up having to do more than what the charge carries, then that would just be them taking advantage of their authority and doing what they can because they feel like they're the ones that are in control of the world right now at the moment. I mean, I can't fight or go against my enemy if they have more power to me and they feel like they can take advantage of it. That's all they're really doing right now is take advantage of the opportunity that they have to use your warehouse as collateral.
Now that's true. So I mean, Damita, so how does it work where he would have did 3 years in feds and they're saying they're not gonna give him credit for his time?
I don't know. I mean, they can make whatever decisions they want to make, really, and I don't even know if there's there's no law that says that they have to give you credit. I'm assuming. The only way that it should be, the only way that I know that we can.
I've always gotten credit for all the time I've done this. The first time I've ever been in a situation where they say that, you're not going to get credit for all the time.
But see, they didn't say that. Your attorney said it. So I will go ahead and write a letter. Oh, the DA said it?
Yeah, the DA said it too, but I know at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the judge. But I know that a lot of times, for some reason, favors the DA. And I've really been wanting to change my judge and stuff because I heard you don't really play fair.
Who's your judge?
Steve Jones.
I haven't been with him yet in the federal
He's
court.
already accused me of some things that I ain't even had nothing to do with. Had the FBI come talk to me over here tonight. I was like, damn, I don't even know why he felt that way or even had any type of feeling that I had any animosity towards him.
So have you wrote the bar about your attorney yet?
Nah, I just sent the motion to the court to move him from the case, and I'm writing him a letter right now so he can file a motion to withdraw.
Okay.
And I already filed one affidavit to the court to let them know that they're violating my constitutional rights and everything like that. But know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm a true man of God, and I feel like what's going to happen is going to happen, and, you know, because I feel like that was just what destiny was, and, you know, that's what was meant to be, but, you know, I just pray that everything goes the way I want it to, and that they don't railroad me to have to, you know, miss any more time away from my kids, because at the end of the day, I got people out there that need me.
Exactly.
Hey, let me say something, Dan. You know, you seem to be a very smart individual. You seem like you've taken the time that you've been incarcerated to read and to learn and to gain knowledge. But I'm gonna say this, and I hope this really helps you. But they can't keep you forever.
Nah.
You feel me?
I know that. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that and understand that they can lock my body up and do whatever they want with it. But, you know, there's one thing that they can't take from me, and that's my mind and the reality that I see through my eyes and stuff. You know, I have already learned to come to terms with that. And I know eventually one day, you know, I'm gonna have, you know, some good things and a good story to tell, you know, people out there, so that they won't have to go through this or through some of the things that I did that led me to this. Because I also know that, you know, a lot of the talent that I have, I can also use for good to help younger kids that think that certain lifestyles is cool. It's not cool, because at the end of the day, we ain't doing nothing but hurting ourselves. And, you know, sometimes we put ourselves in these situations, and, you know, and sometimes it be hard to get ourselves up out of it. But at the end of the day, I know it all comes down to decisions.
Right.
And I haven't made the best decisions in my life, but I know what decisions and what steps need to be taken now to prevent this from happening again.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the only violation that you've done, you didn't pay for, and that was your parole violation. I mean, you know the terms and conditions of being released on parole. You smoked weed. You answered to that. You did the time. As one of our
I really got time served already. It's just the fact that I need a little bit of assistance on making sure that it happens. But I've already done paid my debt to whatever it is they accuse me of.
Right. And like, you know, I think we've already talked about that. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but one of our viewers said that what you're dealing with is a constitutional violation, and we're already far aware of that. It's just getting them to understand that we're a part of this Constitution as well. They think that when it comes to them, it only applies to them. Like almost every case that we've had call in, the main part of them being incarcerated is that they're ignoring the laws that they wrote. These are laws that you created, and we're trying to make you honor the laws that you wrote.
Right.
And you're trying to ignore the law that you wrote.
Right.
And keep us in here. Right.
Right. They want to use it when it applies.
When it applies to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when you're in the law library with Siddiqui, is he helping you out a bunch?
Nah, I mean, I pretty much know a lot about the law and the science of it and everything. I know you know, at the end of the day, you know, why I feel like it's a blessing to be able to come in contact with y'all and y'all coming into my atmosphere is because a lot of it has to do with also who you know out there and what type of people you have being a part of helping you take the steps to getting this resolved. And, you know, I can't do it by myself. So whatever support or, you know, assistance I can get, you know, from the outside that will help push forward in here, you know, is always a plus and a blessing also as well. And, you know, I appreciate everything.
I got a couple of ideas. You know, like the blessing about FAIR is that we are a multicultural organization. Right. Although I am the president and I'm Black, I have to go ahead and use some white privilege every now and then. And that's when I send in Danielle or Tammy. And if they're not taking me serious or listening to me, them coming in can get something done. So once you find this new attorney, I mean, ASAP, let me know. Send me a message. Let me know you got a new attorney. Although Erica is white, Danielle and Tammy are more aggressive. So get them in there and they can go ahead and start laying down some ground rules and what are and what aren't going to happen.
Yeah, that sometimes they need to see that you actually have a support team behind you on the outside.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times.
Or maybe sure, because I can only do so much from in here, and I think that they've been taking advantage of the fact that I ain't even gonna lie, I don't really know anybody out there that knows about the law like I do.
Right. And you learned about the law from dealing with the law.
Yeah, I've learned it since I've been incarcerated.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of months and hours in my cell studying and reading everything that I could possibly get a hold of, and gotten books in from the outside. So I know, but I also know that I need to be able to establish public relations with the outside, and I write letters to the board, signed the temple, and I never got a response from them.
Yeah.
But Daniel, let me ask you a question. What were you? What, and you might have said, but what was you initially? What was the first case that you was charged with?
As an adult?
No, the one that put you on the First Offenders Act.
Oh yeah, that's the one I got when I was 17. It was a street gang activity.
See, you understand what I'm saying? So it's not illegal to organize, like you were saying.
I mean, it's not for us to organize. No, it's not. I mean, they
I didn't
can
even
be
know
a
that was
part
that.
of. They can be a part of whatever they want to be. They can be a Klansman.
And what he said was street.
Yeah,
What he said
you
was.
have the right to be a part of whatever it is that you choose.
Well, by the
That's one of your rights.
right, by the law of the Constitution, you can. But
And that's what he was convicted of.
yeah,
Wow.
just from organizing, not because they went and did something.
Just
So
You
based
have 1
based on the Constitution, we have the right to be in any organization we want. So if I want to be a Klansman and they let me in, I can be that.
right.
But what I don't have a right to do is to go shooting and killing
Right,
with
right.
my
But he
organization.
was never convicted of that.
Huh?
He wasn't charged.
No,
with
he
that.
was charged with organizing. So that's a constitutional violation in itself.
Right.
Well, I appreciate the conversation with y'all. Hope y'all have a blessed day. I think the Deacon's about to get on here and talk to y'all next.
Okay, make
Okay.
sure that you guys make sure you send me your information. I need to send it to Erica, but also send it to me, okay?
She already has it.
You haven't found it yet. I'm talking about the new attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell her, make sure she pick up the phone and stuff, or tell her to call me. She called me yesterday, she said, but I ain't never seen it. She called from her.
Yeah, y'all lines was kind of twisty yesterday, because I tried to reach out a couple of times and nobody was answering those phones. So it might have been when y'all was at red.
GTL.
Okay.
That was extremely interesting. I
It
mean, because it had
was.
different variables to it. But one thing that for the listeners and people that are tuning in, like you were saying, Damita, when they give you that first offenders, it's really a privilege. But why he was put up under the first offenders was some BS. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just to have that over his head, yeah, it's like they've been trying to get him on that since they gave him the first charge.
Right. And somebody just responded to him saying he reached out to the Moorish temple. A lot of times these men that get in prison, and the guy that you had coming here, Dominique,
Yeah.
the one that was telling us about registering as a state citizen and not that, it might have worked for the first person or whatever, but now they're going to attack that.
Right.
And when you start, it's sad. We're supposed to have freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, but for example, Hebrew Israelite, that puts them on a watch list.
Right.
Growth and development, that puts them on a watch list. Hanging out with Farrakhan, that puts them on another watch list.
Right.
Hanging out with Khalid Muhammad when he was still living, that put him on a watch list.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're constantly being watched by who you assemble with, who, and all you guys are doing is like-minded individuals
That's it.
hanging out together,
That's it.
but they don't like your like-minded. You're not teaching what we want you to teach.
Right. You're
Even
not,
though you're an American,
right,
you're supposed to have the right to learn what you want to learn.
right.
But we want you to teach this Christian way right here out of this Bible. We don't want you to, you know, teach your teachings or
Right.
the
Even,
Quran
right.
or
Even
or
after
whatever.
we've imprisoned you, now we want to
now we want to control
you in
everything
prison.
about you, and we
Right.
can't control it. That's when we have a problem. That's when, you know, like if we're talking, Iz and I were talking about, you know, these people that build temples and build communities, you know, yeah, now you're going to be told that you're holding these people hostage and,
Right.
and that it's
That's
a cult and all
That's
this, because this is not what we want you to do. Even though we say you can
Right.
and you have the right to do it, this is not what we want you guys over here doing.
'Cause we're gonna
And
find
we
some way
can't
to
control it.
Right. We're gonna
So,
definitely find some way to
and whoever started this up, going to prison.
for a long time.
Right.
Right.
But, you know, it's a lot. But, you know, back to what you were saying about the First Offenders Act, I think when a lot of times when people get it, it's like this crime holds 15 years. But if you sign the First Offenders Act, you only have to do 2 years and this much on probation.
Right.
So they do it, but they're not understanding that you can't do nothing wrong.
And I was blessed because I was on it for 5 years and I didn't catch another case, but I also secluded myself around a lot of different things. You know what I mean? So, you know, that first offender is for real.
To accept this call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah, shalom. Well, hello there. Long time no hear.
How you doing, my brother?
Okay, so yeah, you've been gone. Hold on, I gotta update him because he's been gone a while. He no longer goes by P.Weezy.
Oh.
It's P.Wells. It's P.Wells because he's a grown man now.
Yeah, you got MIA on us for a minute, didn't you?
Yeah, man. You know, I had to, move back a second and focus on some things, dealing with this situation here. Some other things, right, as well. So, yeah, man.
Well, we glad you back, my brother. It's definitely good to hear you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here, man. Continue to be, a voice for the people.
Exactly. I was so happy to have him back, just even working cases and our normal talks and stuff, because he's such an intelligent man.
Yeah, you can't be hoarding the information now. You gotta spread the love.
Like there's been so many times I wanted to call him about a case I needed help or I was stuck, but he was gone. But I was so happy that he came back because we need him out here. Plus, he's the father of this organization, so
right.
You can't be leaving your family
right.
now.
Right. One thing for sure, I know it's a good aim.
Like Allstate.
No doubt about it. What y'all got going on today?
Well, now we're talking to you, so we've had some pretty good cases call in today. Any updates on your situation?
No, I'm still in the belly of the beast. Still waiting to get this PSI done. I'm just waiting. I thought it was a certain amount of time they have to do all these things. But,
they just do things when they want to do it.
They know nothing at all. So.
And my thing would be, I guess, how do they go about, like, take the guy who was just found guilty of the guy in Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then take Nipsey Hussle's case, and they haven't done anything with Shitty Cuz at this point, or have they, and just not told us?
No, and that's the thing about it. I think they get to pick and choose because the Minnesota situation, didn't even go a year.
That's what I'm.
And it's out the way already.
Yeah, I understand.
5 years.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, that's
Right.
and you said exactly what I was kind of hinting at, where they can pick and choose what they want to put out there, because I was kind of puzzled by that, and even with your situation, it's like they dragging it out for apparently no good reason.
Yeah, I was set to be sentenced December 18, 2019.
Wow.
And the government continued it. Then COVID hit. but really, there's no excuse because a lot of my co-defendants, even during COVID, have been sentenced. So,
Right.
they got the PSIs done, and they got sentenced, and
Well, maybe that could be a good thing.
I'm just sitting there.
We hope. And it's
Maybe it is a good thing. I'll be hearing that it's a good thing, but
yeah.
Nobody really knows.
Yeah, I done heard all kinds of rumors about your situation. All of them good rumors, so I hope at least one of them
I
is
know that's
true.
right.
Right.
But the only factual thing I know is that all the attorneys had to have a meeting based on all the inconsistencies and the illegal wiretaps and everything that happened on this case. And I like to give credit to him because he's the one that started it. And once FAIR started getting out, breaking down these cases, who we got now? We got was it Court TV or Crown TV?
Crown TV.
Crown TV. Then they just put the actual documents up,
Right.
and word line for line, like they have like at least 15 videos of y'all case alone where they're breaking it down, what happened and what went wrong. And I say the more the merrier because that's what you want to happen. You want the truth out there.
Right. And they ain't sparing nobody.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, oh God, no.
They're not
They
sparing.
call Crown TV that's breaking down sentence for sentence on the case.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you bless the touchdown and get on this concrete, I'm gonna show you all of it. It's gonna blow your mind. Somebody sent me the link like right before I did y'all's show. When we had all y'all co-defendants on here, and it was just all it was is they put the court documents on the screen,
Right.
and somebody was reading it, like somebody would pretend to be the prosecutor and somebody the person on trial or on the stand, and they was just breaking it down so you could see what was wrong with this case. And so now they have all these people out, and then of course ARS Salano started, they podcast other people. I think I put a post up about KK. That might have been August or September, and then Streets 94.5 touched on it for a little bit. So it's out there now.
Mm-hmm.
But it all started because Mangriwa Siddiqui Israel decided he wasn't going down without a fight. You're not going to take me without a fight. And he started, whoever is willing to be my voice, because like Daniel was saying, he knows the law, but I'm locked up. Somebody out there has to make these moves.
Right.
So this brother we on the phone with created a team, created an organization, and we making the noise.
Definitely.
That's the blessing right there. It's so I'm just watch this news, daily basis, and get sick and more sick into my stomach just watching all these injustices taking place, all across this country. As it relates to black and brown people, poor white people, disenfranchised people. It really is sad to me. And the only thing that makes sense is somebody creating a vehicle to resolve those contradictions. You know what I mean? There has to be a party. There has to be a platform where the people are allowed to make change.
Right.
And the ideas are put into concrete activity because, marching is cool and rallying is cool, but that, true change is going to take place, in the boardrooms. Mm-hmm. And so we got to have people to be able to go in and articulate what the masses are trying to say with the energy that they're letting on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what needs to happen. And I commend, brothers and sisters like yourself, Ms. Damita and Keisha. Mama Keisha. I like to call her Mama Keisha. Mm-hmm. I met her. She's on that front line, and Miss Abrams. And Warnock. It's so imperative to be at school to push that agenda. And I think we live in a time of change. Real change. And maybe I'm being a little optimistic, but I'm seeing things that I ain't never seen before.
Yeah, me too.
I've been around for 50 years, so
you know, I'm seeing some things that I haven't seen before, and I'm proud of what I'm seeing.
Yes. And another thing, everybody just needs to continue as they are. I mean, we were talking about people not coming together, but it's fine. Everybody work on what they're work. If you want to work separately, long as you're making noise and these people, you know, the people are being exposed, the sentence disparities are being exposed. You know, we sat quiet for too long, and that's why for centuries they've been doing this type of stuff to us. I constantly tell the families that we help that, you know, I don't care if he did it or she did it. The family need to rally around him or her, make sure that whatever's about to go down in that courtroom, everyone agrees on, even the person that did it.
Right.
You know, nobody's going into their, when you go into your cell, you understand I'm going to have to do this X amount of years because this is what I've done and I feel like it's fair. Not, dang, I'm here for this and this man did 10 times worse than me and he going home in a year. You know.
And we see that constantly. You know, I remember telling some people a while back about the little brother that was in here from, I believe he was Iran or Yemen or one of those places. Brother by the name of Tahi, and he's a Muslim, and he had allegedly conspired to blow up some monuments and do some other things. And you know, he got caught in the process, got caught with some rocket launchers and all kind of old crazy stuff. And you know, he was able to sign a plea agreement for 15 years. And meanwhile, his brothers on his case who ain't killed nobody, who ain't, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, turn around and get him 15 years. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, how is that even possible? You know, and when you begin to look at the situation regarding our people and how we're treated in these courtrooms, it's unbelievable that you would give somebody who has raped children and molested babies and different things of this nature, and you know, you get him 2 years, 5 years, but somebody who just might have had a conversation, he has to sign for 10 years mandatory because he had a conversation. They ain't distributed no drugs, narcotics. You know what I mean? Anything that he has to sign for 10 years because he's called on the tape. Saying, you know, we got our work cut out for us.
Yes, we do. I know the other day as the Floyd trials were finishing up, one of the brothers we have sent me an email. He got 120 years for 2 grams of cocaine. And he said, he asked me, was I watching the trial? And I said, yeah. He said, guilty on all counts. He goes, but how much money you want to bet they're not going to give him 120 years? And I said, he might get 120 days. Right. You know, 20 minutes.
Community service.
Right. Another brother got, you know, he's put on his post, he got, his brother got 60 years for marijuana. And he goes, my brother got 60 years just for having enough marijuana to smoke. Then you know he wasn't trying to sell it. That was his own personal stash. Meanwhile, this man kills a man by putting his knee on his neck. And he's facing a minimum of what, 10 to 12 years?
Yeah, you know, because, you know, they're going to go through all of this mitigating circumstances, you know what I mean? And, you know, starting with the fact he's never been locked up, he's been, you know, officer, and, you know, and despite the fact he got all kind of, you know, strikes leveled against him, you know, since he's been an officer, you know, they said he's been involved in all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? They just been sweeping it under the rug, man, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
See, that wouldn't even be addressed for him, but I know with just George Floyd itself, they want to bring up, this man was just murdered. They want to say, well, you know, he had this in the system, and he yelled at his girlfriend, slapped his mama. You know, they want to tell you.
Yeah, they wasn't even allowed to address those issues during the trial. You know, that he's been reprimanded for different things. You know,
but I told you about when I went to a sentencing, and they try to discredit the guy by saying, well, do you think a hero should hit his girlfriend? And I'm like, they didn't ask me that, because I would have been like, I can name a whole bunch of heroes that hit their girlfriend. What are you talking about? Everybody else.
The thing about it
we're not here for that. We
Right.
here about, the make sure this stuff is go right in terms of equal justice under the law.
Exactly.
So, people are trying to use that smear campaign to delegitimize a person, so to make it easy for them to lock them up and throw away the key.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna have no support. All we have to do is let him know that hey, he cheated on his wife several times, and that's gonna make a certain population of the women not come to support him. And then we'll let them know that and
Oh wait, Rashad Brooks. They made sure that we knew it was a white woman when they killed Rashad Brooks. He cheated on his wife with a white woman. So don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
Oh well, yeah,
yeah.
kill him then.
It's amazing, man. But I appreciate y'all.
You kind of called in earlier than anticipated, so I really need you to call back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a reason, and I hope the reason hurry up and calls. But there's a reason I need you to call back.
Any particular time? You need to call right back now.
He said between 6 and 6:15.
What I do, I go get my equal prayer up and do all of that good stuff. And I'll hit y'all right back and see what y'all got going on.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, my brother.
What's his name now?
P.Wells.
P.Wells. Yeah.
I'll see you in a minute, comrade.
All right, my
All
brother.
right.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you for using GTL.
You know what with both people that we spoke to, one thing that they did say that, I mean, it's probably normal, but it did stick out to me is that these attorneys are not answering calls.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if I done gave you a whole heap of money, or it
Right.
don't matter if you the public pretender.
Now, I've had several conversations about attorneys. When you pay your attorney, they should come and introduce themselves to you, sit down and, go over the, whatever, get everything they need,
Right.
go process it. You have to understand that you're giving them thousands of pages, most likely, if it's even gotten that far.
Okay.
Or if not, then, they got to go read up on your charges, see what's going on. Then they should come back and interview you, ask
Based
you some
upon
questions,
what
what little information they have.
That's true.
Because they have to know how to fight this case.
Right.
And then they should go back and do some study and whatever and come. They don't have to come see you once every so many months. But once enough information has been gathered, then they can go longer gaps without talking to you.
But off the muscle.
Off the muscle. But before you go to court, they need to sit down and have a conversation with you before your court date so you understand what's the game plan, and you agree on it when you get in that court. What's not okay is for you to give your money to the attorney and then it's almost your court date,
right,
and you still ain't heard from them. You don't know what they found, what they didn't find. Another thing that I always say to people, they'll say, well, I gave them a lot of money. I gave them $5,000. That is not a lot of money.
Nah.
To me, yeah, that's a lot.
But to them,
and
that's $50.
Right. And so what an attorney is going to do is they want to make sure that they made some money. So they're not going to get an investigator out that money, or you're going to have to pay some more. They don't want to take you to trial, so they're going to push for you to take a plea so that they can keep the whole $5,000.
Right.
If you have to go to court, then they got to pay more money. They lose more of your $5,000.
Right, they got to spend more
so
time.
that explains the quality of service you're getting from this attorney. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind.
I mean, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's still a business.
It is
for them. You know what I mean? So
and I'm not excusing it. I'm just explaining
what's
happening
mindset.
here.
Right.
So
I mean, you have to think about it. Why do you think they had to go to school for so long?
Right.
They trying to get their money back.
Yeah, and then we got some of these attorneys that are just, collecting $5,000 and not doing no work for nobody.
Right.
So they're pretty much public defenders that you're paying. Give me your $5,000 and I got you. Oh yeah. Oh, this is easy. I got this. They make you feel all good, and then you don't hear from them for months and months and months.
You take it to trial. You be facing 50 years.
Right. Yeah. P, go on and take this 20 years. You'll be all right.
Right. You know what I mean? So they really do the minimum.
Exactly.
And then sometimes you can give them a lot of money, and they still do the bare minimum.
As in with Mr. Fain with Arkansas Mo, he gave him a substantial amount of what he gave an attorney, most of us pay for our house.
Right, and that's crazy.
Total value of the house.
And I'm
And the
glad
attorney
you guys
can't even
able-
play. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
For this much
crazy.
money, you better find your cousin. Somebody better go talk to this
Yeah,
man.
because somebody better
Because
pull it up on his
Somebody
man.
better pull
Yeah,
up on him
man,
right
wow.
now, because this is not okay.
And unacceptable. But
Yeah.
like you say, once you guys check their temperature and put the jumper
Yeah.
cables on them, because they have to be accountable.
Right.
You know, don't get, if just like we can call you, there's other phone calls that could be made.
Right.
And now they're looking at you.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and these people are looking at you, now they have to hold you accountable, because we finna hold them accountable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think just you guys making those small phone calls,
Mhm.
big things happen.
Big
And it
things
lets you
happen.
know how many times this is happening worldwide, but nobody has the people on the outside that can just call 3 or 4 times to let people know, like, listen, you're not gonna just do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Exactly. But like I said, a lot of people say that they haven't heard from the attorney. What you can do, for those of you who fear is not helping, if your loved one has not heard from their attorney, pull up on that attorney with your phone. Tell them, when you get off a lockdown, call me at this time. If the attorney's in office, sometimes they're at court. You can't pull up in the courthouse with, say,
Right.
talk. But if they're in their office, you can pull up and you can say, hey, Mr. Wells, Damita Bishop hasn't talked to you in months. Here she go.
right.
And they be
And what can they do at that point?
I just hand them the phone and I just
Yeah.
sit and watch. And then I
Yeah.
get the phone back. You good? I'm good. Okay, have a good one. That's all I wanted.
That's it.
That's all I wanted.
For
is
you to do your job.
do your job. Talk to this person.
That's crazy.
Because I used to call the attorney and then they got my number registered. Now they block me.
Okay.
Oh no, we're not blocking me now. I'm just I got P.Wells on the phone and he said he ain't heard from you in 8 months.
Right.
Here you go.
Right. And that's real. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you have to be able to put a little pressure on them.
Mhm.
And if they doing their job, they shouldn't have a problem. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't want to make excuses because you done got the money, and then you still dealing with somebody's freedom, you're dealing with somebody's life.
Okay, the number is 770-912-3611. If you got it, I don't know if you heard me, but I'm gonna say it again. 770-912-3611. But
Call from.
So I think
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
yes.
Shalom. The other person hasn't called yet, but I mean, when you're dealing with the joint, anything can happen.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if did I tell you I got an update on Pino that he is over at USP Atlanta. Okay. So I put the word out, so people are gonna start trying to get some money on his book and make sure he's comfortable while he's there. So yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Damita, and it bewilders me how these attorneys don't want to keep in contact with the clients, and with the corona, how that has really just bagged up the situation. But they got to make a move on it. Like the young man, he was saying that when he's been in there 30, almost 3 years.
Mhm.
Daniel,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, when it comes down to this is their way of getting around a lot of different things that they, supposed to be doing. But they got a situation where they're able to call you on those phones. They got Zoom. They got all these different things. So really ain't no excuse. You know what I mean?
It's really exposing them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really is. And they pretend like it's handicapping them, but it's just an excuse.
Right. Right. Now that's real. The handicap is really their excuse because they don't care.
Yeah. And they gonna get paid either way. If they make the phone call, and talk to you for 5-10 minutes, it's like they're coming to visit. You know what I mean? So it keeps the paycheck rolling on their behalf. But you can't sit down and go over no discovery and with them and point out this and point out this, so it puts you in a real bad situation. A lot of people have to get continued. And people ain't stop getting a lot locked up yet. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, so it's just things get backed up. You know, Corona ain't stopped people getting locked up.
No, I definitely.
So,
Okay, the other party is trying to call in now.
Everything. Say it again.
I said the other person's trying to call. I don't know why he was trying to call through a video. It's not gonna let me do that. But he just ask for the number. But yeah. Well, the one thing about it is everyone that comes in contact with you has a lot of positive things to say about you. Inside and out. I posted a picture up and put a post up about you the other day, and oh my God, my DMs was blowing up. Where is he? Is he good? How do I get him? I took so many pictures of that app and showed him, set you up an account and sent him a message, let him know, you know, you got him or whatever.
I appreciate the love. And it's a whole lot of hate out there, so I definitely appreciate the love.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a bunch of hate. You know, can't have love without hate, I guess.
Right.
It's out here strong.
I'd rather focus on the love, though. Tell whoever it is, brothers out there, you know, I continue to do what I've always done, and that's lift up those who want to be lifted up and fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And to just, you know, do what I believe His Creator put me on this earth to do, and it's to be a help to His people. And no matter what situation I find myself in, I'm going to continue to do that work. And, you know, and I've come across a lot of good brothers in here that really just need, you know, that helping hand. You know what I mean? You know, they don't know which way to turn. And, you know, the lawyers ain't talking to them, and, you know, family is no longer there. You know, people who claim to love them, you know, they abandon you real quick sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You fall in these situations, and so it's real hard. I've seen a lot of pain in these brothers.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Sure.
Hello? Hello?
Shalom, shalom. How you doing? Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom.
Okay, I didn't mean to bring you in. I thought you were the other caller. So can you hang up and call back?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Somebody said shalom. We might need to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's not the other person. Both of them were trying to call at the same time. Yeah, he
I almost made me just go to just, three.
Yeah, when I heard shalom, I said, wait a minute. That's not who I thought it was. And he told me don't say who it is. I don't know why. Is that? Oh, that's not him calling on your phone? Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, he keeps trying to video chat. I'm trying not to say your name, but I'm gonna have to in a minute because you're not cooperating. What's going on?
Well, you can't use the word cooperating. I thought it meant.
Right.
I'm like, well, dang, all my life I thought cooperation should be good.
Something good, huh?
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
I'm like, whoa.
Cooperate, got
I ain't cooperating. If I tell you what I'm doing, you gotta say what he did.
Yeah, that's tough one there. Yeah, that's a tough one there.
Hey, man, you know, live and you learn.
Yeah. But you know, at least every time we talk to you, my brother, you always seem to be in good spirits.
Dang. Okay, because the other person called first, it won't let them in. Oh. Oh well.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So that was. Oh man, that just hurt my feelings. He can't call back for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Talking about the first guy?
Yeah, that was KK. Oh man, he was trying to. Yeah. I don't know if that'll work, but you can try. Hold on, he's gonna try
My
now.
Lord, to keep his head up, see you forward, he'll be about his song.
Yeah,
I know that's right.
Can you,
And
Lord?
we
Oh my God, he was so excited to talk to you today. That's my fault because I didn't know the number he was calling from, and I answered the other call. He had to wait 30 minutes.
But I'm hearing a whole lot going on with this radio station. This radio station done took off on a whole other level.
Yeah,
You know, people they like that.
and that's a good thing. To be honest, to be able to allow people to, have a voice, and for other people to be able to hear the voice. I mean that I'm humbled by the fact that the world is taking an interest in not only Fair but Atlanta radio station because of the good that we're working to do and getting the information out and keeping people abreast with things that are being held in the dark. You know what I mean? But the Bible says whatever you do in the dark is gonna come to light. So Atlanta radio station and Fair, we just shining the light on them.
Right. So he wants to know if you can call back at 6:45, and brother that called in, can you call back in now? I was trying. Yeah, his mama just texted and said he won't be able to call back until 6:45, but he wants you to call back too at 6:45. Okay, and then I was asking the Hebrew brother that just tried to call in to call back if he's still watching. So.
Come back in. You got going on. He resonate. Step up to the plate.
Right. Let me see if maybe I can just call the number.
A lot of work to be done.
Oh, he's calling. He's about to call. Okay. Yeah, they were trying to call at the same time, but his phone got in before
I
KK.
want to call at 6:45 too.
But again, to everybody who's tuned in, this has been a good show. Thank you all for tuning in. Been watching the numbers. We've been getting pretty good numbers.
Oh yeah, we've definitely been consistent, and there's not an international listener.
I hung him up.
Oh, did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably about to call back.
Well, it's definitely good to hear is tapping on in.
Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Okay, got you. So how you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm okay, and he's always watching our show.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's always recording, so thank you. We appreciate you. But you wanted to touch on, I know you said you're a paralegal, and you wanted to touch on what an attorney's job is supposed to be.
Yeah, for the brothers that's appealing their cases and stuff like that, the first thing the attorney should do is go and do an open rec act. Don't file no paperwork, but do an open rec act and review the prosecutor's file. There's a lot in that file. They might even file constitutional violations like, no, we don't want no blacks on jury. That's a Batson violation. Okay, well, it could be anything. So, attorney that's working for you, the first thing they will do is file an open record act to review the prosecution file so that they can see what's in the file. Then they'll file the appropriate motions afterwards. And that's what they need to be saying to their attorneys that they plan on hiring. Or
Now,
you're going to do an open record act first.
Now, you remember when we did the show about that, and I told everybody that's the very first step that should be done anyway. But a lot of people their attorneys shouldn't have no issues getting it. So I don't know why people are saying that the courts are not complying, getting them their open records request, honoring the open records request.
Well,
So
that's
in a
what I do. everyone I do, not to cut you off, I get my response within 3 days.
Okay, so what happens if they don't get it?
Then they should follow up and ask what's the delay, because by law in Georgia they have to respond within 3 days.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when we did the show, I said it was either somebody said 3 days, somebody else said 3 months, and I said, so I'm gonna be nice and give them the 3 months. Now, what
Right.
happens after that? If they're
Don't
continuing
be
not,
nice.
no, that's not what I asked you. So what if they don't get, if they just refuse it? Because like Monguiro, it's been since he had filed for his in 2017 and it's 2021 and he still doesn't have it.
Well, the appropriate remedy then would be to file a mandamus on the issue, or a notice of intent to file a mandamus on it first by Georgia law.
When you get a chance, can you text that or send me that wording message?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I thought he was gonna call. Oh, I guess he's on.
I've heard so much on this show, and let me say this: Toda Rabaya for putting you in a position and for putting my in a position to start this program. I pray that everything you put your hand to, everything that comes to your seat of your intelligence, and you will apply it, you will be successful and whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just know that the fight has to be fought legally. We have to have liaisons that's going to go up into the legislative buildings and speak to these legislators.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problem doing it, but it takes more than just me. And what needs to happen is we need to build a coalition on every common ground of organizations that we have out here that's coming together for the sake of forcing these individuals to do what the law says they must do.
Exactly.
And until we can build that coalition, there's still going to be division.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to come together as community and as legal organizations and as community groups and build.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Hello, this is a prepaid This call is from a correction facility and is subject to
Hello, I'm sorry, we lost you. I had.
using TTL.
I'm sorry. Shalom. So
Shalom, Shalom. How you feel? Blessed by Yah. Waiting on the Shabbat to come in. How's y'all? Me and you as well. Yeah, good brother on here, huh?
Yes. So he was just talking about us coming together with coalitions to get inside the legislative rooms and stop them while, at the head where they're making these laws, or we're going to continue to have division. Hello?
Yeah, let's take for example, House Bill 288, which goes into law July the 1st. House Bill 288 will create mass incarceration, not parole reform. And the message has to go out as we build these coalitions to the legislators, Republican and Democrat. If you're not working for us, we're not voting for you either.
Mm-hmm.
So their message has to be clear to us that they want to work with us and for us as the people. Tell me what that House Bill consists of. House Bill 288 consists of, if you have 75 or more years to do in prison, you have to do 30 years before you become eligible for parole. That's prison over violence.
Right.
If you got 20 years, you got to do 14. If you got 12 years, they want you to do 7 years. You're creating prison overcrowding.
Right, because the key word in what you just,
reform.
the key word is what you said was eligible. You're only eligible, that doesn't mean we're going to let you out.
And that's another thing. They're saying you're eligible. Okay, an individual can be eligible for parole, but what is the requirement for him or her to make parole?
And now, again, I don't know if you followed me a few weeks ago when I had wrote out to all the parole boards, and I got answers from a couple of states, and they literally gave me a detailed plan of what they look for when granting parole. Now, a lot of the people that call fair because they just keep getting denied, they have done every single thing that is on that list. At every class that they said take victim awareness, even classes that don't have nothing to do with their crime, they take, and they still continue to get denied. So if this is what you're telling me that you're looking for, it can't be, because you're telling people that got degrees or took classes, to got certification, good behavior, received awards for mentorship. You're telling them that they have not been rehabilitated enough to come up out of that prison. Meanwhile, I've never been to prison and I don't have 4 degrees. So, you know, I'm lost on what they're actually looking for.
And the thing is, they're not looking for nothing but you to do time. For you to continue to stay in prison and to work for whatever type of, like when I was in federal prison, I used to be in federal prison, they wanted me to work in Unicorn. No, I didn't work in Unicorn because that Unicorn job, my family could be working that job. So, and let's take Georgia for instance. Georgia has free labor. They don't pay the inmates. And by them not paying the inmates, they need people to stay in these factories, in these warehouses, and continue to.
That was his phone hanging up.
And continue to work for them. So they're going to work you until you die, or they can't work you anymore.
Exactly.
So, and then I got a brother that's in prison in Georgia, and he hallelujah, he's on his way up out of there.
Good.
But the thing is, most of those guys in there, by the time they're released from prison, the only thing they're good for, it don't make them do how much education they get. The only thing they're good for is Social Security. Who's going to hire you over this 21 or 25-year-old that can give them a career?
Right.
Don't make no difference if you have a tax credit or if you're bonded.
Right.
This person can give me a career.
Right. But see, the point that I was making,
credit,
though, not to cut you off, okay, let's say you go in at 18. You know, I have a brother that, you know, we're advocating for, that went in at 18, didn't know how to read, but he can read now. He's got 2 trades. I mean, in the state prison, they don't give him degree courses, but he got 2 trades, and now he's in his mid-30s, and he's perfectly eligible and still strong enough to go work these jobs that he's learning how to work while in prison. But, you know, due to the nature of his crime is the reason that he keeps getting denied parole. Well, we all know the nature of your crime is never going to change. That's going to always be the crime that you went in for prison. So if you're telling me due to the nature of the crime, you're telling me I'm never getting out.
Okay, 42945A of Georgia's OCGA states that the parole board shall have in place in a rules and regulation an eligibility requirement for parole.
So are you saying to be eligible or just to be granted parole?
Listen, the law is very clear. What needs to happen is FAIR and everybody else should be calling the legislators and asking them, why are you not having the parole board to follow the language of this law? The law says that the parole board shall have in place, listen, in a rules and regulation, an eligibility requirement for parole. What is he required to do?
Right.
If he has to do A, B, C, and D, then provided he do A, B, C, and D, then as his initial consideration, he should be eligible for parole because he met the requirements.
It would be like getting a driver's license. It would be like almost getting a driver's license.
Yeah, but the parole board members are playing with the language of that law.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is saying that the initial consideration and the reconsideration is the eligibility requirement. Well, no, it's not, because there's 4 classes of people in Georgia prison system. question is, what is the requirement for them to make parole?
That's what I was asking.
And provided they do that requirement that you're giving them, they should be paroled. That's the liberty interest in it.
Okay, now backing up, because you said that so if a person has a theft charge, they can't get parole.
No. Four class of people that's not eligible for parole in the state of Georgia.
Right, I thought you said theft in there.
Recidivism.
No.
Okay, I heard wrong. My fault.
Yeah, life without death penalty. That's what you
Oh, death. Okay, I thought you said theft.
Oh.
Okay.
Death penalty. Yeah. So, and recidivist and mandatory sentence. Those are the four class of people that's not eligible for parole.
Right.
But everybody else is eligible. They just need a requirement on what they must do to make parole.
Right.
The language of the legislator over 30 years ago, listen to me, over 30 years ago, created a liberty interest. But Georgia parole board, they're so secret in what they do. We don't know what they do. But they want to allow, there's another House bill coming out that allows the prosecutor, listen to me now.
I know this one. Yeah, I already know this one. The prosecutor can review.
So you already know.
I already know about this one, yeah.
The prosecutor could review.
The prosecutor that prosecuted you can review the parole board's
decision.
Well, they can be a contributing factor in the decision.
So they can speak on it. They have a voice.
Yeah, but what about the attorney? What about your attorney? Well, your attorney don't have that privilege.
Right.
That's one-sided.
That's
Right,
one-sided.
That's definitely conflict of interest.
Is that injustice?
Yeah, so we definitely need to hit the parole board up.
Right. Yeah, but I need to have that
Not
information.
only that, you need to be hitting the legislators up like I do.
Yeah, we hit the legislators up.
He's on the team. And the thing is, those Republicans now, let me tell you what the Republicans are doing. They're not letting them do nothing. They're not getting nothing done. But they're getting carried to jail, though. Parkana went to jail. For knocking on the governor's door.
Exactly. Wow. Goodness.
Yeah, so we had to form that coalition. All these groups out here, these groups that's advocating for the people's loved ones to come home. We have to come together in a coalition, build this coalition, and we make our point. Clayton County made a point when they wanted to keep the schools closed. The community came together and made a point.
And made a point, stopped it. Yeah.
But you made a valid point when you said, what are the requirements? And that small piece of information has huge ramification. And I'm glad that you said that, because that's it.
Well, they say the requirements to make it to be eligible. That's what I was trying to say to him. They don't say the requirements to be granted. So to be eligible, you have to meet these requirements. Just because you're eligible don't mean you're going to be granted.
Okay.
And that's what we need. Okay, these people are really working hard to get out, but you keep telling them no. Every 3 years they think, oh yeah, I'm going to get it this time, and then they get a no.
So what are the requirements for it to be a yes?
So let me say this to you. The parole board, when I talked to them in front of my brother, I was very specific in my language to them. What is the requirement for him to make parole? They told me the requirement for him to make parole is initial consideration and reconsideration. I feel that's automatic.
Right.
After this first time.
He's eligible for parole under 14 years. He's eligible for parole under 7 years. He's eligible for parole under 30 years. What is the requirement for him to make parole? It says the eligibility requirement is the initial consideration and the reconsideration. They're playing with the language of the legislators because there is not a simple period there in the language. See, that's why we have to.
Okay, hey, I have another. I'm sorry to cut you, but I have another caller calling from the prison. Can you call back?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Shalom.
You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from.
KK.
An inmate at a federal prison. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. Hang up to decline the call or to accept. Dial 5 now. If you wish to.
Hey, KK, how you doing? Hey, now, you told brother to call back at 6:45 and it's 6:38. So are you gonna be able to stay on that long? Okay, I'm gonna send him a message and see if he can call now. But how's everything going with you? I'm good. As you know, you're also on the phone with P.Wells.
What's happening, Kay? How you doing, my brother? And man, you never do. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And I appreciate you calling in, my brother. Actually, I got your track ready to play it. Since day one, man. What you talking about? Yeah,
Right.
that's why I love that track, bro. And then it don't have a timetable on it.
We've been good. I just sent the message to him telling him you on the phone. Hopefully he see it. Hopefully he watching the tablet. But the last time we had you on the show, all of your co-defendants that you were waiting to be sentenced had not been sentenced yet. So now they're all sentenced and your appeal has been filed. How you feeling? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. He said you pay for the rats too.
Hey, man, you gotta pay for 'em. They don't know what they do.
Right. Exactly. So we had Iz on earlier, and we were telling him that, you know, you guys started putting all that, getting the word out about how y'all were treated. It took a minute for the public to start following it, but now it's coming from all corners. And I told them about Crown TV and how they were breaking the case down page by page. Of course, we've been doing it. Your brother been sharing a lot of it on your page, breaking it down. So now they had to have a meeting of all the attorneys to let them know, appeals are coming up and this is everything we're up against. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
This call is from a federal prison.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Some of y'all gonna go right home and others are gonna be able to get back some of them 33 years. Maybe not all of it, but enough to satisfy maybe their actual advert act. And in the meantime, we're gonna keep applying that pressure and putting out all the information. I thanked Iz and I thank you for all the knowledge of the law that I've learned from y'all too. Because there's been time KK and I be on the phone and he explaining the law to me like I'm about to represent him in court. But it's been a learning experience, and you know, it's been emotional, you know, because I know y'all have y'all good days and y'all bad days.
I have a bad day.
Yeah.
It's just farther. But you know, we on top this weekend. You know, it's birthday weekend, so
Yes.
like I'm doing it on the street.
I know.
Now, KK, the last time we talked, I asked a question, but I didn't get a chance to finish it up. I know you got a documentary coming out, man. You didn't get a chance to tell us about it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I got the life of another OGKK documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I also have autobiography coming out also. You know, I'm gonna say the name on that one. And me and my brother Uncle G gonna put together a documentary for BCF too. So
That's gonna be dope.
a lot of plans in motion.
And shout out to BCF. Remember we had Trotty in the studio with us
Right.
at one time. They doing their best to still keep everything going while y'all down. They constantly calling me, asking me what can they do when y'all going back to court. I'm like, we just waiting on these dates now. But
See, man, it's not the court. There's more paperwork.
yeah,
So now it's about just they're gonna rule on it through paperwork, and then you know they don't have to bring me back to court. They can just give me my citizen paperwork. They can say,
right.
man, to resentence it or so.
See, the only one we waiting on for the court is he's the only one that has to go back in front of the same. Yeah.
So you know the code was slowing us down. So really, you know, I thought we would have been done. So I could have had a ruling by the summer this year, but if we get in by the summer, I guess by the end of the year she have a ruling. You know, she have some work on party.
Oh Lord.
Hey, well, that's right. You already ready.
Oh Lord, the city gonna be turned up. One by one. I sent him a mail. I said, what you gonna do the first soon as you get out? He said, sis, I'm going to Miami. Yes. What time is it? He probably didn't see the message yet, but you still on, he should be calling. Is he they got him in lockdown, or is he with y'all? I mean, not lockdown, quarantine. Okay. I had some guys asking me about him today too. They want his information so they can make sure he good. And so tell him whenever he gets situated to send me that information so I can get it out to everybody. And I hope people really do. I get asked about y'all all the time. I hope people really do be blessing y'all, because I don't be stopping my day to send text messages out just so that they can just read them and not. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, whenever you talk, KK, you just seem so calm and cool and just laid back, bro. And I definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean? You keeping your head held up high.
Oh no.
I guess we have to do a part 3 segment. I hope y'all get me on next week or so.
Yes, KK, you can come on anytime you want.
Friday is a good day.
Okay, so you want to come on next Friday?
I love you, my brother.
Okay, I will. We love you, KK.
All right, bro.
All righty. Well, Wow.
And it's good. Yeah, KK's voice.
It is.
It is. I wish we could have allowed that to happen, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm you know, and when I listen to Iz, as soon as he come on the phone, you just he give it to you. You know what I mean? It's like he's the strength.
so dope.
And KK's so calm and collected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's so calm, but you know he's been through a lot. But it just made him a much tougher individual. You know what I'm saying? So when he touched back down, you know, I see them two brothers doing amazing things. You know what I mean?
Yes, they do. But let me tell you about these two though, because they family for me. I can't give nobody more attention than I give my two children, Iz and KK. So,
right.
So KK might say if he ain't seen me posted about him, or if he ain't heard, you know, sis, did you do this and what about this, and have you called my lawyer and have you done it? Okay, KK, I was over here, but okay. I mean, yeah, see, we first. You're right. But they will get in my behind.
I say first.
Yeah, we first. I mean, that's good. You want to be Harriet Tubman, but you take care of family first. You take care of home first. So
Yeah.
I got you. But first of all, this was a good show. I will keep everybody updated. I know a lot of people want to be there for Arkansas Mo, and I'm going to say this: I really appreciate that. But don't only show up when it's a celebrity. Show up all the time. If you ain't doing nothing and I say a certain case is coming and we need court support, just come. I'll brief you. I'll let you know what's going on, you know, whatever. I know everybody wants to be there because, you know, TMZ and everybody, you know, gonna be there.
Right.
Don't let that be the reason. We're coming out because Fair wants to make sure that he gets a fair case. You know, we couldn't say too much online. I'm very aware of what's going on with his case. I just can't speak on it.
Right.
But trust me, everything that the media is playing, as always, is not what it is. And we just want to make sure that when he goes to court, before he signs any plea, that it matches any wrongdoing he may or may not have actually had.
And that's something that you definitely will make sure of.
Yeah,
like,
we don't, you know, they
cases.
want him to just go ahead and sign for 20 with no attorney talking to him. You know, I had Iz sit down with his discovery and break down, you know, disprove, you know, knock down each accusation.
Right.
Can you prove this is a lie? Yep. Well, where's the evidence? Okay, so we good there. Now let's go to war. Okay. Now what do you want? So when we sit at the negotiating table, we have all the proof of what he didn't do, and you know, and if there's anything left, then we want that to be what you base your decision on or offer the plea on. Not,
right.
You know, we want to make an example out of you because you're a celebrity and you're a black man, and we want to show everybody that nobody is above the law.
Right.
20 years.
Right.
And
stick to.
No, we're going to be fair. Exactly.
Right.
So, and it's political because he also has co-defendants, and they're not even mentioning the co-defendants. And
so they're keeping them.
Oh, the co-defendants are out. They're out on bond.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's another thing. But I just kind of wanted to put that out there. Other than that, you know, keep the guys in your prayers. Daniel Salano, I'm very happy that he called in. Yeah. Very intelligent young guy. Very intelligent. And that just goes to show you, like, when I first met him, I told him, when they look at us, you're a Hispanic dude, tatted up, you know, urban clothing.
Right.
When they look at you,
they are the
stereotype.
Right.
They made a decision on you, and this is going to be easy.
Right.
But just by looking at him, you wouldn't know he's as intelligent as he is, based on how they think.
I'm not saying they get mad. Do you think? I know the courts probably get mad when he's able to facilitate the words that he's facilitating to them.
They do, but when nobody's there to witness what they're about to do, the railroading, they don't care.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you can go in. Yeah, you can go in and be Johnny Cochran. Okay. But because nobody's standing there with you, they can just sit there and ignore everything you're saying and go, like,
how when they Bluetooth.
Right. You know, whatever. When I went to a sentencing, the prosecutors were sitting there playing Candy Crush and texting and all that while this man's life is on the line.
Wow.
Even if he's guilty, give him more respect than that.
Right. Show some more respect. Right. That's crazy.
But other than that, that concludes the show for today. Do you have anything you want to close with?
Nah, I definitely don't. You know, I definitely was happy that he is definitely tapped in.
Yes.
To hear Daniel and just how much he's studied and he's researched, it builds confidence. You know what I mean? And that's why I want him to know, you know, even though I'm not behind bars, bro, they can't keep you forever.
They can't keep you forever.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
he's gonna be home sooner than he thinks, and hopefully, you know, they will give that brother credit for the time that he's been in jail.
Yeah.
And with KK, you know, strong, solid brother,
Mhm.
and he'll be coming home soon. You know, you have to think it into
Yes.
fruition. You know what I'm saying?
And the same with Maurice Fain, Arkansas Mo. First of all, I would like to everybody to get away from his love and hip hop character and look at the facts of this case. You know, it's bad enough that we have the system judging us and stereotyping us, but for us to do it too before this man, I mean,
That's true.
People have actually said, oh, well, that's what he get because he slapped Cardi Red. He did that on TV.
Right.
You don't think that they told him to
Right. She knew it was
or
going
she
down.
knew what was about to happen.
Right.
That is not what he's on trial for. So
Right. We're not convicting him in public opinion. We want to convict him based upon what he's supposed to
done. So, but I'm thankful that he reached out to Fair. That just shows that we're reaching a big audience.
A huge audience.
If a celebrity wants our help,
Right.
so that that means a lot to us. And we're not going to give him special treatment because he's a celebrity. We're going to give him the same treatment we give everybody, and we're going to do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have, and hope for the best possible outcome.
That's real. Right, because it doesn't matter. You didn't get into it for the celebrityism.
No.
But the fact that he sees Fair as the stronghold that it is, that speaks volumes of where you guys have started versus where we are and where you're gonna be going.
And where we're going, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to close us out.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all once again, man. We had another great show. We did it on the live. We did record it, so this will definitely be one of the shows that I'll be able to run back.
Okay.
I always tell you guys, man, to keep y'all mask up and keep those guns down, but y'all don't seem to be listening to me.
I know, but the COVID numbers are kind of coming down, so I guess they're getting vaccinated.
Okay.
But I want everybody out there to make sure that the system plays fair with you, not just on Friday, but every single day of the week. That concludes our show for today. Have a good one.
All righty.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to end this one with OGKK Real One. I hope he tuning in, but Real One.
All in the mic. I gotta be.